The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network. You're listening to the Monday Night Roundtable. For the next 2 hours, we'll talk local high school sports with the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith.
10-5, touchdown, Indians.
Give me the corners, 2 scores, baby.
Give me the corners.
The voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton.
Throw the ball, has a receiver long upfield, chasing it down. Catch made by Rylan Griffith. Take it all the way to the end zone.
Produced by the IH Sports Network, the Roundtable begins now.
Good Monday evening, everybody, and welcome to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network, coming to you live tonight from the C. Michael A. Technology Center in Helenwood. I am Ben Garrett, joined tonight, as always, by the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith, and the voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton. This is our next to last segment, next episode of the Roundtable before we break for the holidays and a kind of transition. So we're going to talk football tonight. We're also going to talk basketball tonight for the first time this season, as we have a couple of our coaches in this week. We'll wrap up basketball previews next week. But first, guys, let's talk a little football. A couple of games on Friday night, huge games that unfortunately did not go the way that we wanted them to go. Oneida falls to Eagleton in a region championship game, 40-7. Scott High falls to Sweetwater in kind of what was a playoff play-in game by a final score of 38-25. And Rick, I'm going to start with that Scott High Sweetwater game. It was an outstanding football game. If you didn't have anything riding on the outcome, didn't really care who won, you got your money's worth. Sweetwater jumps out to the big lead in the first half. Scott High, though, they battled back, had the lead with 4 minutes to play in the football game. But much like Sweetwater did to Oneida on the same field a couple of weeks ago, they just ripped their heart out.
Well, they certainly did. Coming back, actually getting Highlanders, I believe, scored 3 touchdowns in the second half. We actually took a 25-24 lead. And you think, hey, that's pretty good. Sweetwater, they get a touchdown. They make it 31-25. 4 minutes to go in the game. And you think, that's plenty of time. You had a couple of timeouts. Yes, it was. Then the only luck that Highlanders seem to have is bad luck. Then the bad luck happened. The interception returned for the touchdown. It gave Sweetwater that extra lead with only a minute to go in the game, and no time to really overcome that. But this group of young men showed a lot of heart. They showed some courage. As they've done all year, it seemed like they went in determined at halftime, we can play better and come out and win the second half. We did all those things, and just another thing just wrenched away from us, another heartbreak like that. And you've got to say that in terms of the Highlanders for the entire season, let's throw out the Kingston game because the second half was so ugly and feel full of bad luck for the Highlanders. Let's throw out the McMinn Central game on the road because we still don't know what happened down there. But, you had Meigs County, you had Sweetwater within 6 points of those two teams. And just a testament to the young men, a testament to how they wanted to play, and how they wanted to see their season continue. But it was a heartbreaking deal. But what else can we say? I'd like for it to turn out different. I'm sure they would have too. We would have headed to Gatlinburg-Pittman this week. But the funny thing is, the 3 new teams in Region 2, Meigs County, McMinn, and Sweetwater, all ended up as the 1, 2, and 3 seeds in the region. And I'm not sure anybody really saw that coming, but that's the way that it ended up. And by Meigs, just the way McMinn won and Sweetwater won, and then Meigs beating Kingston, I wasn't sure that we projected that Kingston would get bumped all the way to 4. But it happened, and now new playoff system sort of in place. And, we'll wish those teams in our region well and hope that they can overcome the teams in what would essentially now be Region 1 in the first round, and then in the second round it's going to be out of Region 4, whoever they'll match up against them.
Scott High's offense in that game Thursday night, almost 450 yards, more than 350 yards on the ground, and 2 100-yard rushers. I don't remember the last time that happened. Maybe you do. It's been a while, though.
It's been a long time.
Offense played outstanding. The defense Sweetwater had 350 plus. I think 357 maybe was their total. They had a good night offensively too. Scott High's defense, though, when they needed to, they rose up, got Scott High back in the game. The final possession of the first half, the first possession of the second half, and then Scott High got another stop later. 3 out of 4 possessions they got stops to get back in the game. The only time in that stretch that Sweetwater scored was on an illegal forward pass where the quarterback was clearly past the line of scrimmage. And I bring that up not to complain about the officiating, although we saw a ton of just obscenely bad calls. But I want to correct something I said, because I said at the time that Scott had a breakdown in the secondary. And I feel like that's unfair to the defensive back who let the receiver get behind him, because he was covering the receiver. And going back and watching, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. When the quarterback scrambles, he turns to the quarterback. The quarterback was past the line, threw the ball anyway. That should have been a flag. So not exactly. I wouldn't call that a defensive breakdown in the secondary after all.
Not a breakdown. And there was another thing where obviously we thought there was a grounding penalty against the Sweetwater quarterback because he was not outside the pocket. In this particular case, we could clearly see it because the ball was on the hash mark, and he threw the ball from the hash mark. So,
directly behind the center.
Directly behind the center. I mean, he was 10 yards back or 12 yards back. But, I mean, you had a measuring stick. A lot of times, referees, they don't have that measuring stick to know the outside shoulders from tackle to tackle, where that is at. But, you got to overcome that. It happens in every game. Yes, we're very much prejudiced. I don't know about Tim, but I'm very much prejudiced for my team when I see something that is not right. I'd like to call them out. And I do a lot of times, they being the men in the striped shirts.
All right, Tim, as we turn to the Oneida-Eagleton game, I was not surprised that Eagleton won the football game because Eagleton's a very good team. I was shocked that Eagleton was able to move the ball as effectively as they did, especially in the air, against an Oneida defense that has been incredible all season long. But they do, and they get the win. They get the region championship. Fortunately for Oneida, it doesn't change anything as far as getting to host a game in the postseason. They're still going to be at home Friday night.
Well, I think for the Oneida fans, when they look at what happened Friday night, the Eagleton team, we expected them to be talented. We expected them to be a competitive game. It was a competitive game for a shorter time than what we expected. The 13-0 lead happened for Eagleton. Oneida answered with a touchdown, pulled back within six. So it felt like maybe we can pull back into this thing and get a seesaw battle going with them. But Eagleton just kind of put their foot down and didn't allow that to happen. And when you look at the 5 losses the Indians have, Coalfield and CAK, those are pretty much expected. The competitive ones, Sweetwater, you lose the lead late, and then Bledsoe County was a 1-touchdown game, 1-score game. So this one among those 5 losses felt a little bit worse as an Oneida fan and player, I think, in this, because you felt like you should be competing with Eagleton toe-to-toe, and it wasn't even close. It was a 33-point final in this one, and they were making big plays and getting big stops. So I know that in talking to the coaches before the game, they didn't see it coming. They didn't think it was going to be like that. So it was a surprise, I think, to all of us that it cascaded the way that it did. Like you said, fortunately, you're still in the playoffs. You still host a playoff game. It does make the playoff road a lot tougher, not in the first round. Not that you can take anybody for granted, but West Green's Buffaloes will be the opponent this coming Friday night. They won their first game Friday night to finish third in their region. So they defeated Cumberland Gap, and they defeated them decisively. But it's a team that hasn't won a lot this year, so you would expect Oneida would be in good shape with them. But, again, we don't want to take anything for granted, especially after the performance on Friday. Should you be able to get out of that one, then the road gets much, much tougher. It will be a trip to Gordonsville next, and so Gordonsville's state-ranked team that beat Coalfield earlier this year in a weather-shortened game. So I know one of the big disappointments was – two of the big disappointments, not winning that region championship when you have an opportunity to, not really even competing for most of the game for that region championship, and then what it does to your playoff bracket and your chances to try to move deep into the postseason. So those are all things that are done and over with, and now all the Indians can do is just face what they have ahead. That's West Green, and you got to take care of business against West Green, or none of the rest of it matters. So I'm sure that's what their focus is going to be on this Friday night. And Jesse Zachary was a late scratch in that one in this game earlier, but just the way that Eagleton handled that game, the quarterback was relaxed. I don't know that we would have gotten a lot of pressure on him. Cope and Mesa Ares were amazing athletes to deal with, and I don't know that we would have slowed them down regardless of what happened, because they came out ready. They had a definite attitude coming into the game, and I guess that's the first time I've kind of seen what we expected to be a close game, and the other team really just brought it, and we didn't match the intensity.
Those two players that you mentioned specifically, Pope and Mesa Ares, man, they had good. Not
Pope,
to just
yeah.
repeat what you're saying, but yeah, they had outstanding games. So we normally talk about this in our final segment. Tonight we'll be talking basketball in the final segment. What does Oneida have to do differently from this past Friday to take care of their business against West Green? And also, in talking to some of the players today, I get the feeling that game Friday night was probably a wake-up call for them. Do you get the same sense?
I do. I mean, if not, this is it, right? So, I mean, every time Oneida has had a loss this year, they've been able to respond. They haven't had back-to-back losses on the season. So that's a positive. But something Coach May mentioned in the post-game interview, he said, yeah, we've bounced back. He said, but then the next game we don't. So we won 2 games in a row to start the season, Rockwood, Harriman. And then since then it's been alternating losses and wins. We haven't strung 2 together, and thankfully haven't strung 2 losses together either. But it's going to take a special effort this Friday night, and then a extra special effort the following Friday night on the road to be able to continue the season.
All right, so we're going to talk a lot more football tonight. Tate Shepard is here. Hopefully we'll go outside and find Colton Searcy somewhere. We'll take a break, come back, talk to those two guys right on the other side of the break. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Ben Garrett alongside Tim Smith and Rick Keaton, and we have now with us our First National Bank player of the game from Oneida's game against Eagleton Friday night, and that is Tate Shepard. He's just a freshman, and this is Colton Searcy. You can't see him, but he's there. He's wearing a special invisible gear tonight. He is our Trophy Masters lineman of the game, and but no, Tim, we have had freshmen on before. But I couldn't sit here and tell you when the last time was we had a freshman on. It's pretty rare, but career high, obviously, since you're just a freshman. 10 tackles in that game Friday night against Eagleton.
So Ben says just a freshman, but I mean, Tate, pretty good sized freshman, as you can see. And so Tate, just a little bit about this year, or about Friday night. I mean, you were pressed into service. When did you find out you were going to be starting in place of Jesse Zachary Friday?
Friday morning.
So you knew it was possible, because Jesse tried to come out and see if he could go Friday night. He was in his gear, came out and tried to see his ankle, right?
I do believe so. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Okay, so both sides of the football. Now, you changed jerseys part of the way through the year because you had added a position. You changed to 44. Before that, you were 55. Okay, so you go to 44 because they were putting you in some as a tight end, right? So how much action did you get at tight end Friday night? I know you were in some.
A good little bit. I mean, enough to get out there, and I'm still kind of getting used to it.
Mm-hmm.
This is my first year ever playing it, but pretty much just go out there, block. If they tell me to go out on a route, go.
So middle school. What positions did you play in middle school for Coach Terry?
I played D tackle, offensive tackle, and middle linebacker.
Okay, so you had some lineman experience, just not as a pass catching tight end. Now, in practice, are you catching any passes at the tight end or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm getting used to it. That's for sure. I need to work on my catching, but I'm going to get there.
So, but your favorite side of the ball would be what?
Defense.
Obviously. So 10 tackles, that leads to it. So talk to us about Eagleton. What made Eagleton such a tough deal on Friday night for everybody?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we weren't completely ready. I can't talk for everybody, but that's probably the most nervous I've been without a doubt.
Were you pretty confident going in, though?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'd watched them on tape. Did they do anything that you didn't expect?
Not that I noticed, no.
Okay. All right. So so they come up with a lead 13-0. Then Oneida's able to score, and at that point the Indians needed to come up with a stop, and it seemed like Eagleton just transformed their game and got a lot better. What do you think has to happen differently this week against West Green than what happened last week for Oneida to win?
Just got to stay locked in and play as a team.
Okay. All right. And so, do you know anything about Jesse's health? Are you going to be on the field more this week, or is Jesse feeling better, and is he going to be coming back?
I haven't talked to him, but I feel like it's possible that he can come back.
Has he did he practice today?
You have to spin it all the way around.
No.
Nope.
Okay. All right. All right. We're getting Colton settled in here now. So
Took his invisible cloak off.
Yeah. Colton just slides in. He's ready to go. Tate's been carrying the show so far. So Colton seriously was our lineman of the game. Colton, you come off an injury this year. You missed a lot of games. Talk to people about the injury and how you rehabbed to get back.
Well, I had a really bad sprain MCL, and I went through a couple of weeks of rehab, and I do have to shout out South Fort. They helped me get back pretty quick, and so.
Okay, so South Fort Physical Therapy.
Can we get you to adjust the mic a little bit? It's.
I don't even think this thing's on.
Yeah, it's not that, Rick.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
that.
no.
Okay. Something else.
Colton's just got a very deep voice. This is going to be
This is improvised.
This is going to be an Emmy Award nominated segment if we're not careful. So we'll get Colton. Now let's hear your real
there we
voice.
go. Yeah. I can hear you now.
Is that better? All
Yeah,
right.
actually, Ben wanted the deep voice. He heard that.
I have no sound.
That's the way we'll do it. So Colton, back to this past Friday night. So you come back and you're back on the line, pressed into action. And what was difficult about Eagleton on Friday night?
I think they found a weakness of ours, and it was they could just pass it, And we're working on it this week, and I think when we play against West Green, we'll have that down, and they won't be able to do that.
Okay, and we talked about Tate changed numbers this year. He was 55. He went to 44. What's your number?
67.
Okay. Say that again and look at the camera, because that's the reason Colton's here.
6'7".
6'7". Yeah, that it all worked together. Now that Rick and Ben and I know about that, it's bound to be a dying art, because once the adults catch on to 6'7", people have no interest for it anymore.
Yeah.
But have you heard a lot about having that number this year?
All the time.
So who's doing that?
All the time.
Who's talking to you about it?
A lot of people on the team and a bunch of little kids, just they'll come up to me and do it.
That was one of the first things I thought of when Ben put up your picture on Friday of being the lineman of the game, and that was one of the first things I thought. I've got to ask him about that. So now, but you were 6'7" last year, right?
Yeah, I've been 67 for 5 years.
So you kind of set the trend.
He set the
I started
trend.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. Talk to us about West Green. What do you think about the Buffaloes, and what's going to be important to take care of in that game?
I think they're a decent team, and we could definitely beat them. But I think we're just going to have to keep running the ball and making sure they don't get it, and make sure we don't have no turnovers.
Okay. And what about how many games did you miss this year?
I think 4 or 5.
5. Okay. All right. And so how hard was that as a senior watching that? Did you know, I'm going to get to a point where I get back this year, or was there a question in your mind?
When it first happened, I didn't think I'd be back because I had 2 surgeries on my knee, and, it was pretty rough. And then Scott had told me, you'll be back, and I was relieved, and then I came back. And
Are you a senior?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I thought.
And I think what's neat about that is both of you guys are kind of like, I don't know that people would have said, hey, you're a lineman of the game and your player of the game is going to be a freshman that's pressed into duty and a senior lineman that didn't know if he was going to return this year. So, but that has to mean a lot to you guys. And Tate, talk about the opportunity. you know, you didn't know if you were going to get this much playing time, and now you have. How important is that to you going into the future to be able to have all this experience?
It's really important. I mean, just getting out there and be able to firsthand, like, do what we've been walking through in practice. And high school's a lot different than middle school, that's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot bigger kids, and they know what they're doing.
So, and you were on those middle school teams that I guess you all were champions every year you were there. They won another one on Saturday. So, so what's it been like experiencing the ups and downs instead of just ups all the time? Has that been hard to deal with?
It's been kind of hard to deal with, but we just got to bounce back and can't let it get to your head.
All right. And who is somebody that welcomed you onto the team? Like, was there an upperclassman that was good to you that when you got onto the team, they kind of took care of you and have been a good friend, mentor to you on the team?
Yeah, Drayton Wade, he's helped me a lot because I moved to DN this year, and he's helped me there, and then he's helped me when I switched to tight end. He showed me what to do, and it's helped a lot.
All right. And Colton, what about you come onto the team? You've been on the team for a while, but was there somebody that welcomed you in that was a mentor to you when you came in? And have you been that for somebody?
I think Jay Birch, which is Jaden Birchfield, he helped me when I was like a freshman, sophomore. He was a pretty good mentor. Colton Darty, he was pretty good to me, you know. And then I've been trying to teach these freshmen and sophomore, you know, what to do, and I've helped Tate a little bit, encouraged him, especially him getting more playing time. I'm actually really glad he's getting playing time because he deserves it. You know, he's a pretty big kid.
Yeah, knows what he's doing when he gets out there, right?
Yeah.
10 tackles will answer
That's
that
pretty
question,
good.
right? That's pretty good. So, so after this year, now you're not playing basketball, right?
I think I will.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this going to be your first year playing basketball?
Third. I
Third
played it
year.
in middle school, but
Okay. All right. What have you got a position? You talked to Coach King about this. What's he saying?
I don't think Coach King has really talked to me about it, but
Is he finding out right now?
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, if he's watching it.
All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So,
He'll actually be here later if you want to stick around.
I'd rather not.
No, we got-
so you're just trying to wring out all you can out of
Yeah.
that senior year, right? What's it like knowing this is it, and then what are you going to be doing in the future?
It sucks, really. You know, I'm gonna miss school and leaving like people like Tate that I see all the time, basically on Sundays and Wednesdays. And I think in the future, I'm just gonna probably just move on with life and get a job and try to make a good living for somebody.
Okay. All right. Tate, basketball for you?
No
Oh.
go.
Not a chance, huh?
I tried at 8th grade. Not a fan.
So you tried last year? Yeah. And was anybody disappointed that you're not going to play basketball?
Caden Keaton, he wanted me to play, but I told him, nah, dude, not for me.
It's not your thing, huh?
Nope.
How many did you foul out ever?
Twice.
Twice. Well, that's kind of a family tradition anyway, right?
Yeah.
Now, I was told that that you've watched some of that. Now, this is what Mom told me, okay? She said you watched a few of her old games and you commented that she was slow.
Yeah.
You did do that?
Yeah, any time she made any little mistake, I made sure to point it out.
Does she do that to you?
Not really. I just like to pick on her.
All right. I'll let you ask a couple questions.
I want to ask Colton something. I'm sure the first part of the season, you're just standing there on the sidelines. The season probably real slow and really dragging on, right?
Yeah.
The last 4 or 5 games that you've been available, been playing, has it flown by?
Yeah, it's been pretty quick. It's like at the start of the year, I was like, man, this is going by pretty quick, and it did. It did, unfortunately. But you know, I still got half a school year left, and hopefully, I can cherish it and hold on to it.
How you don't know because you're a freshman. Grade wise, how have you done through the 4 years?
I've done pretty good. I'm a little iffy here and there, but I think I've done pretty good. My teachers probably wouldn't say that, but
If you had one dream job, thinking ahead for a year or 2 or 3 or 4, dream job, what would you like to do?
I think my dream job is to become a lineman, and hopefully I can make that dream come true because I really want to be one, or a fiber splicer.
Okay, so you're going to be in the trades and,
Yeah.
and potentially climbing poles.
Yeah.
You know who can help you with that, don't you?
Sure thing.
Sure thing. You
Yep.
need to talk to him starting right now about that.
Let's get you on that list.
Yeah. You mentioned a couple things a while ago, but after the 2 or 3 things, what are the most important things for the Indians to do this week? Give me 1 or 2 on offense and 1 or 2 on defense. Most important things to do to be successful.
I think on offense we don't need to turn the ball over as much as we have been, and I think we need to just stick to one game plan instead of trying to go to different ones. And then on defense, we just got to fix the pass protection and making sure they can't throw the ball over our heads and just stop the run.
As you've watched film on, do they favor pass? Do they favor run?
It's kind of 50-50. They'll run the ball here and they'll pass it here, but I think if we can get them to pass the ball, I think we'll win.
Okay, good.
One more question. So, Tate, we didn't ask you your future plans or anything. I'm going to ask your future plan for basketball. He is a freshman, but he may not. He says just a freshman. I mean,
he is a freshman, and next year he'll be a sophomore.
So, first I'll ask your future plans for basketball. So, since you're not playing, are you going to be in the stands in the cheering section and going after it?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, even though I'm not playing, I got to go and support my friends and people I go to school with.
How do you feel like they're going to do this year?
Pretty good. I'm hoping so. I mean, like I said, I'll be over there cheering them on, win or lose.
All right. Any thoughts of what you might do? I know it's a little ways away, but have you thought about what you might want to do one day?
I've really thought about sports medicine physician.
Okay.
You know, stay close to sports, and it's in medicine. And I don't really want to go to 12 years of college, though, so it's kind of iffy.
12 years.
Yeah.
Can't blame you for that. Nope. Well, I hope to see you next year and the year after that.
So, Colton, you rolled in here late tonight, and I got a message that you were on your way, but you got held up at practice. Now, I just got to say that Joe Klein is sitting back here, and he ratted you out. He said practice didn't go late. And in his defense, Tate was here at 6 o'clock. So is this a disciplinary thing? Were you having to run laps after practice?
I'd hope not. He will be getting something from me later.
Oh.
Surprise.
Now, he's he's a little bit shorter than you.
Yeah, I could.
Don't. I didn't mean to get anything stirred up like that.
But you did.
But you did.
All right, Tate. So what a luxury, Tim, it is for Mark Martin, the defensive coordinator. He loses his all-region caliber defensive end, and his freshman backup comes in and has 10 tackles in a game of that magnitude. But I don't want to talk about defense. I want to talk about offense because you mentioned to Tim that you've been working on catching the ball in practice at the tight end position. How many drops do you have in varsity games this year?
In games?
In varsity games.
0.
0. Can you go to Knoxville and teach that tight end over there, Miles Kitselman, a thing or two about catching the doggone football?
I can try.
I wish you would. All right, so our First National Bank
Player of the game,
Tate Shepard. This is a great start.
This is the
Trophy Masters lineman of the game, Colton Searcy. Tate is just a freshman. Colton is just a senior. So thank you guys for joining us. Best of luck Friday night in your playoff game against West Green. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll flip to Scott High football on the roundtable. Welcome back to the roundtable. We are live tonight from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood. I'm Ben Garrett alongside Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, and we're joined now by one of our 2 First National Bank players of the game from Friday night, Braden Birchfield. He's one of the many seniors on the Sky High team. And then Jaden Para, just a sophomore, is our Trophy Masters lineman of the game. Now, Mike King, we don't even know. Mike Bond, I'm sorry. Michael Bond, we don't even know where he's at. He was our other player of the game, Tim. We did something a little bit different on Friday night. We decided that we were going to pick co-players of the game because when things were looking a little bit bleak at halftime, Rick, 17-7, and I even made a comment coming out to start the second half that we got to have seniors that step up and play like there's no tomorrow. And more than just seniors and more than just these two seniors did that, but two that stood out especially were guys, one on each side of the ball. And one of them was this guy right here, Braden Birchfield, played like a man possessed on defense that third and fourth quarter. And then Michael Bond did the same thing on the offensive side of the football.
I've watched enough of your games to know Michael Bond is elusive. So, once again, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He's just elusive. That's why he's not here.
Well, Michael Bond is also the first 1,000-yard rusher that we've had since I don't know when, way back there, probably 12, 15 years ago. So, I mean, a credit to him and his ability. And also, if he had been as healthy the past 2 years as he stayed healthy this year, he probably would graduate or complete his career as maybe our all-time leading rusher, which that's Wesley Smith, but that's another story altogether. But that's just how productive he's been and can be when he's healthy.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, so let's jump into it a little bit. Braden, the first thing I want to ask you about the Sweetwater game is how tough is it to defend that single wing that they operate out of? Because obviously Wartburg did it, but this team I think is a whole lot better out of single wing than Wartburg.
100%. They was a lot better than Wartburg at the single wing. They was really well with their techniques. They was just able to do everything right and block everybody correctly on their side of the ball.
And a team that's running the single wing that you only see maybe 2 times a year, sometimes teams don't even see that anymore. But how hard is that for the linebackers? Because you got to be paying attention if you've got linemen that are pulling, directional flow of backs and stuff like that. How hard is it to sit back there and determine I need to go left, right, or I need to go straight ahead?
It just depends on the team if they give a lot of false reads or not. As long as the linebacker will sit back and, especially a team like that, watch his guards. If your guard pulls, you flow with which way your guard pulls.
The thing that they seem to do, I don't want to say consistently, but they seem to have luck with it, was the straight little dive ahead, which would be somewhere in the A gaps on each side of the center there like that.
Yeah.
So is that something you guys didn't adjust to well in the first half?
They was just doing really well at trapping our defensive linemen, and then they was getting good releases on me and Desmond. There wasn't much we could really do to stop it.
Do you and Dez enjoy playing with each other?
I really like playing with Desmond. He's funny.
Well, everybody says that, but, I mean, he also has a lot of fire and intensity.
Yeah, he's good at holding everybody accountable and keeping everybody fired up through the game.
Jaden, I want to come back to you, or
Jaden.
I got it right the first time. I want to come back to you. The challenges of playing against the Sweetwater defense the other night, and in the first half we had some real trouble. It seemed that to trying to block them so we get the run game going.
Yeah, the way their D-line lined up, their defensive ends started to line up wider because they realized that we wanted to hook them and just hit the outside, and then they started lining up outside, which would force us to go back in, and the linebackers were there for us.
And that's a real challenge to our tackles, whether it be you on the right side or Eli on the left side, right? Okay. What changed at halftime? Probably should be asking the senior this, but what changed at halftime to fire up the team, to build some confidence knowing that we could go out and start running Michael Bond, left and right and wherever Michael wanted to go?
Well, everyone kind of realized that if we just have to lock in and do what we need to. Like Eli Kidd, he's had a little bit of a moment, and he talked to us about it, and all the coaches got with their positions, and they started coaching them up a little bit, and everyone was eventually locked back in, and then it made us have a lot better second half.
Did y'all have any trouble I know you left early Friday, stopped at 8. Did you have any trouble adjusting to that schedule to be there and be prepared for the 7 o'clock game?
I think we had a little bit of, we adjusted quite a bit, but I don't think it affected us that much.
Okay. If we could play him again, would the outcome be different? That's a question for both of you. 100%?
I think so.
Okay. What's it like to play with the other 4 seniors on that offensive line? Well, of course, the other night you only had 3 of them there, as Hayden Mason wasn't able to go the other night. But what's it like to spend the entire year playing mostly with seniors?
It feels like a huge part is going to be missing because I've played with them since last year too, and I've relied on them, and they've relied on me, and they've helped me a lot to grow and get better over these past years.
Do you want to call out 1 or 2 of them to say, he helped me a lot, he helped me a whole bunch?
Definitely Eli Kidd. He helped me the most.
And he's the tackle on the left side.
Yeah.
So do you look forward, will you be able to stay next year on the right side, or would you like to have that left side job protecting the quarterback?
I believe Billy said that I would stay at right tackle since he says that I'm really good at that position. So,
tackle specialist there. Okay. I'd like to ask you something, and let's turn the clock back to the Wartburg game. Obviously, Coach Hall made an effort to get seniors that had not been able to score a touchdown, an effort at Wartburg to score a touchdown.
Yep.
Let's recount that. Did you have like 4 or 5 running plays before you finally got that touchdown score?
4, I believe.
4?
Yep.
Tell us what it's like to score a touchdown. You know, you've not been a ball carrier much, but I've seen you practice that similar play several times over the years. But what was it like to get that touchdown score?
It felt great, especially being able to be around like just a bunch of people that was able to help me with moving and getting adjusted to the offense and the defense. It felt amazing.
And of course, it seems like Coach Hall always put Desmond in there to the lead block and sort of create some opening for you. And I'd say he probably did a good job with that.
He did.
Can we talk about Desmond just a little bit more? Desmond, in his own right, is a pretty good ball carrier.
Yes.
And if not for Michael Bond, I mean, Desmond has gone over 200 yards rushing this year himself, maybe 260 or 70 yards. So he could have shared – if something happened to Michael, didn't, but he would have been a capable running back himself. Probably would have tired him out a lot more, but he could have carried the rock a lot if he had gotten the opportunity.
Yes.
Okay. And this is a question for both of you. In terms of being prepared for Sweetwater, did you look ahead? Did the team look any ahead as if we win, we know we're going to go play so-and-so? Do you feel any of that was going on?
I felt like a little bit of it because, like, we was all thinking, like, if we win this, we actually get to go to the playoffs for the first time in such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But then that caused us to slightly overlook them, and then the outcome showed.
Braden?
I feel like we looked ahead a little bit, but I feel like for the most part, we stayed focused on Sweetwater. We just wasn't able to come out with the win.
So when game time came, it was focused all on Sweetwater.
Yes.
If we could have one play back, get to do one thing over in the Sweetwater game, what do you think it would be, Braden?
I feel like it would probably be that touchdown they scored as a pass. Their quarterback was like 2 or 3 yards past the line of scrimmage when he threw it.
Yes. We've already talked about that before you got here. There was another one later on in the game that he threw the ball out of bounds. It should have been grounding because he was still inside the tackle box because the play started on the hash mark, and he threw the ball when he was on the hash mark. So, but beyond the line of scrimmage, that was a big play right there. Any one thing for you, Jaden, that play that you say, hey, we'd like to have back, or an opportunity to do something different?
On the first drive, I had a false start, and I think that caused the first drive to not go anywhere. And I'd like to redo that.
Okay. Penalty-wise, all season long, it's not my imagination because these little yellow hankies are dropping all over the field. Do we unjustly get called? And I'm going to mention name. Does Gus King get unjustly called for a lot of holding penalties?
I think so. A lot is like it's not holding at all, but they still call it, and it's just we can't do anything about it.
Defensively, what's the penalty that drives you simply mad when the defense does something? Is it jumping into the neutral zone?
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
when they jump off sides.
So that 5-yard penalty might be it. We've had some late hits that have been called against us through the season. Which one, does the 5-yard penalty or that 15-yard penalty, which one makes you the maddest?
Honestly, the 5-yard penalty, just because, I mean, if you hit somebody out of bounds like that, it's kind of one of them plays where you don't do it, they're going to run up the sideline. You do it, you're going to get called. So
yeah,
you just got to make the hit and deal with the consequences.
I want to ask you both. And I'll start with you, Braden, because Jaden's going to be part of it. What about the Highlander team for next year? Have we got enough pieces sitting there right now that we can fill in for 15 seniors? That's a large number because all 15 seniors play in some capacity in the game, offense, defense, or as kickers?
I feel like they will definitely be able to step up and take on their roles. They work hard in practice, in the weight room, overall.
And what's been your impression, your first year as a Highlander, what has been your impression of how hard the coaches push and how well the players have responded to that through the season, from the weight room, everything through summer practice and in the season? They're
really good at pushing you to your limits and past your limits, and they are amazing coaches. I absolutely love it there. They're good about breaking it down where you can understand absolutely everything that they want you to understand and more.
So the same question. You'll be back. You've still got 2 more years to go. Are the pieces there to fill in the offensive line with you?
I think they're there. They just need to get in the weight room and hit this offseason really hard, or we'll have a pretty bad time blocking if they don't.
Who's going to be the main man in the weight room? Who's the strongest dude you think coming back other than Jaden Bear?
I think JD he's been in the weight room since like his 7th grade, and he's really strong.
And question for both of you: weight room is a very important component if you're going to be a high school football player now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And credit to the Highlanders. That's Eric Privet that
Yep.
does the weight room stuff. And I mean, I came in way back in the wintertime, and I think those guys are working as hard then as I've ever seen them in a weight room. And he had it cranked up to about 90 degrees in there then. And I asked him about that. Have you ever asked him why he keeps it so hot in there?
I've never personally asked him, but I just assumed it was just to make us just train harder.
Train harder, and the sweat. He says if they get warmed up, they'll work harder. So he's done a good job of that. Hey, Tim, Ben.
Well, I was just thinking, you kind of hit some of the things I was thinking about, but I was thinking about with Braden in this senior class is how this season, if you look back on it, to me, from the outsider standpoint, it could kind of be like titled ahead of schedule. From the outsider standpoint, I know you all believed that this was going to be possible this year, but until it happens, it's not a reality. And you guys, I feel like we're ahead of schedule. You accomplished more than maybe most people thought was going to happen, and I think you should be very proud of that and the legacy you leave. And then the other part I was thinking about, I'm not really asking a question, I apologize, I'm just going on a diatribe. No. But the other thing I was thinking about is Jaden, next year, losing those 15 seniors, the mental task and the work that's going to have to go in and getting that across to everybody on the team that what you did this year is just the start of something, and next year's title would be unfinished business. You want to take next year and take that next step, and it's going to be really hard because you're losing so many good guys. And I wonder, do you think there's a mentality there? And I think your coaches are capable of bringing that mentality to go into next year and say, you know what, we lost 15. Nobody's feeling sorry for us on that. We've got a lot to take care of. How do you feel about that?
I feel like the coaches will really push us and make sure and let us know that we have to step up to the occasion. Yeah,
I think you got a coaching staff that understands, and they will put in the work and whatever they have to do. And Braden, you guys, the seniors, I guess you're not sitting back and saying, well, we did our part. I mean, you're still going to be there to encourage them, right? You're going to be there on Fridays cheering them on. And what do you feel like their chances are of holding together and taking another step forward next year? You know these guys.
Just from seeing them at practice and working in the right weight room, I feel like they're going to have a great shot at carrying it on next year and going potentially further.
And none of that happens in August, right? It's going to happen between now and August, all of that stuff. So best of luck, because this was an amazing year. I didn't get to go to any of them because I'm otherwise taken up. Yeah. But, I watched them all, and it was just an inspiring year to watch you guys this year. So congratulations as a senior on going out like this, and best of luck, because I really think you got a lot of possibilities ahead, Jaden.
Yeah.
And Jaden, let me ask you, so just to build on what Tim just said, next year replacing these 15 seniors, but there were a lot of you guys who are sophomores and even freshmen this year who stepped up too. So drop a few names here if you want to. guys that are going to be out there with you next year that's going to lead this thing going forward?
I think it'll still be Gage and Braden Llewellyn in Houston because they're all juniors. And then along the sophomores with me would be like Jesse Jeffers, Braxton Potter, and Carter Slavin.
Okay.
A lot of those guys started and played a lot of quarters Highlander football this year.
Pretty good slew of 8th graders headed your way too, from what we saw this season from Scott Middle.
Yeah,
that's got to be exciting.
So Braden, I want to go back real quick. Rick brought up the Wartburg game when you scored the touchdown, but one play that was not talked about. So you carry the ball 3 times, maybe 4 times, and then there's I think it's 3rd down, and Desmond gets the ball to get the first down to set up your touchdown, and you threw a pancake block out in front to spring him on that play and get him to the first down stick. You remember that?
Yeah.
I didn't actually remember that. Someone brought that up to me earlier today, so I'm just trying to look like I'm smarter than I really am. But, no, you did have a good block. So my takeaway from that whole sequence is you should have played more running back, right, up to this point. Would you agree with that?
Well, it would have been nice, and Coach Hall practiced that over and over. I mean, this just wasn't for that particular game. They'd been practicing that, and he'd been getting some time in practice. Hopefully, it would show up in some game. So that just happened to be the game it showed up in.
So what's next for Braden Birchfield?
Hunting season.
Fair enough.
There you go.
All right, so Braden, one of the 15 seniors. We're told that Michael Bond is on his way, so if he gets here in the next 2 minutes, we're going to slide him in. We're going to make you sit back in with him since you guys are both seniors and you were both players of the game. So don't go anywhere. We're going to take a break. We'll be back on the roundtable. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. I am Ben Garrett along with Tim Smith, Rick Keaton, and we're joined now by Oneida Lady Indian basketball coach Marv West as we shake our lineup up a little bit tonight. And we told you in the beginning we're going to start looking at basketball tonight. Coach West is here, and Coach Brent Ellis from Scott High will be here with us a little bit later. But Coach West getting ready for this 2025-2026 season by moving down to a new classification. I know you got to be excited about that.
Definitely not complaining. Travel's going to be much better. Wouldn't have been with Alcoa if we would have been in that district this year because they did move up to AAA, but would have been with GP. It would have been more manageable than what it was, but would much rather be where we belong in our enrollment. Since that classification is down almost 100 students, so that was kind of an anomaly for us to get bumped up, but we did the best we could with it. I didn't make excuses. We tried to play every night and, had some good times, had some rough times, but that's the way it goes.
So as you get ready for this season, you got a good core group of seniors, some kids that have had a lot of experience, Larissa Jones, Ellie West, who I know you know well, and then Cameron Stiltner. She's been hurt some, but has gotten to play quite a bit. And then Lacey Llewellyn, who it feels like has not gotten to play at all because of injuries. But overall, that's a pretty good core group.
Very good core group. We're still kind of iffy with Lacey. She didn't get great news at her last appointment. She played this summer, got to play a couple weeks for us, had a pretty good summer, and then was on a treadmill and something didn't feel right. So she went back, and she goes back December 15th, hopefully get some good news then because, I'm as much as I want her to play for us, I want her to get to play. It's just not worked out at all for her, and I've hated it, and it's just, she still comes to every practice, does the little things, a great teammate, and hopefully it'll work out. I'm just, I don't know what to think about it because it's been just such a wild ride for her. I mean, she was going to get a few minutes as a freshman and definitely probably start as a sophomore, and she's just been through it all. I mean, I don't know. It's just, and it's a injury, torn labrum in the hip, both hips, both sides. So it's crazy.
What about the rest of your seniors and the role that they're going to play this year?
Well, like you said, they've all got experience. Ellie's played since she was a freshman. Larissa started as a sophomore in last year, and then Cameron was injured a lot throughout her sophomore year. Got to play a little bit at the end of there, but then got to play a ton last year. Got to play a lot. We'll be as good as those three are. They've got to lead this team. They've got to do the little things, not just on the court, behind the scenes. You know, as you can see, we've got no juniors. The rest are sophomores and freshmen. 3 sophomores, 4 freshmen. They've got to show these girls what it's going to take for us to compete. And, you know, some of those freshmen are going to be thrown to the wolves. But they played some this summer, and I was very pleased with them. I love that class. And, you know, all 3 sophomores got to play last year by default too.
Right.
And by the end of the year, guys, that Hampton game, we had a chance.
Yeah.
And, you know, to go up there and play them in that environment, thought we did well. You know, you don't like ending on a loss like that, but, you know, played so well. But going back to our seniors, you know, Larissa's the best athlete I've ever coached. She jumps so well and is so strong. I just need her to translate that and just be more consistent, and she's very capable of that. Cameron, super athlete also. Got to quit thinking too much. Just play, because when she does that, she's pretty darn good and can shoot the 3. And, you know, Ellie's got to take a little more on herself sometimes. She gives it up too much, and it's, you know, she's very unselfish. She's got to get to the rim, and then, you know, if she's double, triple team, let's find somebody. But she's got to take more on herself. I think sometimes she fades back and wants everybody to be a part. But you know, when you've got a kid that's played as much as she had, we've got to have a little bit more out of her, and I think she's ready for that. She's been really excited about this year, and you know, like I said, I know her pretty well, so she's excited about it.
Those 3 sophomores you mentioned, Kendall Duncan, Maddie Pike, Elizabeth Zachary, all got to play last year. Whether you wanted them to have to play or not, they all played as freshmen, and they came along pretty well. Very well.
They didn't look like the same kids that I had last summer. I mean. Of course, Kendall, I knew she was a good player from middle school. She played really well in the county or the district tournament. I call it the county tournament, but played really well down there her 8th grade year and did so many good things, but was kind of in a shell last summer. And then last season, I mean, she's got really good footwork, you know, ball fakes, does a lot of little things well, sees the court well, can make open threes. I mean, that wasn't the kid I coached last summer. I mean, it was a pleasant surprise from her.
So district-wise, when you come back down, it's not like this district has not been playing well. Coalfield made the state while you were away. Sunbright almost made the state while you were away. So I mean, this is a district that does have some good girls basketball teams this year. Now I don't know, Coalfield, did they have some losses by transfer?
The Hammett girl left. She's at CAK. As far as I know, that's where she was. But guys, he's got three girls that play tons of travel ball, that know how to play basketball. They're just really good. The Wright girl, I can't think of the Lau girl, and I can't think of the other one's name right now. But I mean, they're good. They could play at any level, and that's a great core for him to have, and have some other role players step in. So they're the team to beat. That's what we talked about today. What are we doing to get ready to try to compete with them?
And then you've got Sunbright in the district as well. Some people, since we've been gone and away, may not remember Oakdale no longer in the district, right? They're in with Midway and some of the others. But what is the district? Coalfield, Sunbright, Wartburg,
Oliver Springs, and Jellicoe.
Okay.
Oliver Springs is going to be solid. They got a really good freshman that came up, and some other seasoned players that have been playing, for 2 years for her.
Right.
We know Wartburg's always going to have some athletes. Sunbright, Langley does a great job down there. They're going to compete. And then I don't know as much about Jellicoe. I know DJ's daughter still plays there. She's a junior. She's really good, Kendall. And who did I leave out? Left somebody out.
Wartburg. No, you said.
I said Wartburg. Maybe I got everybody.
I think you got everybody. So, but the district is going to be competitive. It should be fun games night after night among these teams. And then, do you set goals right now? I mean, are you telling the girls, here's what I think we can do, or here's what our goal is, or how?
I mean, it's the same thing I've always said. You want to try to win the district first thing in the regular season, have that 1 seed, have the better path to get to the region, win the district tournament, win the region tournament, get to a sub-state and have a chance. Our goal every year, even, I had the same goals in AA now. Might they have been a little unrealistic with some of those teams, maybe, but why set a low standard? And that I guess that's probably why I was a little frustrated at times. I just want the effort. Compete like you want to win. I don't care if we're getting the crud beat out of us. Compete. Have a little fight to you, because I think good things will happen eventually for you.
With the injuries that have occurred and in the past, are you nervous? Like when I look at I look at that roster,
yes.
I'm nervous. You're one injury
when
away
I've got 10 healthy kids right now.
Yeah.
And every practice, you're gritting your teeth and not just turning loose. And it hurt us last year so much. Now we would have some girls that had graduated would come in and scrimmage some with us, and the boys JV we'd practice with them a little bit, but it's still not the same as having your whole team out there and getting a mix and match and look at certain things that you want from both sides. I think back to, Mike Kendall's senior year and having Caitlin Stiltner and all that bunch behind them. They beat them. We would have our second five beating their first five all the time.
Yeah.
It was so competitive, and that carried over to the next year when they were all seniors. We were good, really good. And they're just not getting that in practice. And it killed us last year. We've got to do more live stuff.
So, of the freshmen, can you just dot down through the 4 of them and tell us what kind of player they are? What can we expect when we see them?
Well, I'm still getting to know them.
Okay.
Just like I said last summer, I didn't know who Kendall was, and she came out of her shell. And Maddie and Elizabeth the same way. They both came along real well. Jaden Gray, she's got a little work to do, but I'm very proud of her effort and attitude. She does anything you ask her to do. And, that's going to go a long way for her. She's improved a ton since she's got with us. Tinley got to play some this summer. We went over to Webb and played Gatlinburg-Pittman. Of course, had to run into them over there, and I threw her to the Wolves. Played really well. Did some good things. She's got good instincts. Just the physicality is gonna be the thing with 10. Lucy, I'm gonna brag on her. Had a great practice today. Great practice. She came in wanting playing time. Very gritty. She's just got to pick up on what we're doing. Figure that out. And Zoe's another one. Very gritty. Plays hard. Pretty tough. And like I said, 2 or 3 of them, may have a chance to get some playing time.
What about your returning? Did you have anybody that returned that was kind of eye-opening to you? They improved a lot from last year. Is there a most improved from where they ended the season last year?
It came and went this summer.
Okay.
At times, certain people played really well. If we can get Maddie Pike, when she catches the ball, to be ready to knock down threes. Guys, she shoots all the time. I know that's a shock after she was Kelsey's sister.
Right.
But, she wants to be that good. But there's times where she doubts herself. She's got to be ready. And, Ellie and Cameron will find her. They will find her and get her the shots. That's the only complaint I have with her, but she had a couple games this summer where she came out of that shell. We got to have Elizabeth to be physical. Again, times this summer she was. Because, without Lacey on the court, especially early in the year, we don't have a ton of physicality. And we need her to be that. So,
reflecting with this being the year, and what are your thoughts on that? Having kids graduate, I've had kids graduate. I've had the baby graduate. So there's a lot of emotion tied up into everything this year for you.
There really is, and I don't know, it comes and goes. If I let myself think about it, it kind of bums me out.
So I need to be quiet, don't I?
Yes, you do. Don't get me going. But it's just you put a lot into something, and you just want to go out on the right note. I want these girls to win, and I want them to have a great year, more than anything about me. But I'm ready. I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for something different in life. Not saying I won't ever coach again. If I do, I may be an assistant, because I kind of like just the teaching part more than anything.
Mm-hmm. So the first coaching gig, 94, 95 middle school, correct?
Yeah,
So
you might have been
years.
around back then.
I was in charge of taking the sixth graders to the other end and staying out of your way, the way I remember it. But
and driving.
And driving. It was a lot of fun being there at the beginning. But that's a long time. So I bet you will continue with it.
From that time I've had kids of those players. You know what I mean? And
I do.
It's a big change, But when we took that over, it was, Mayfield Brown told me, you're staying 3 years if you want this job. So, well, I'd rather just help Bill Hall and Tony Lambert with football at the middle school. And he said, well, if you don't take this job, I'll find somebody else that will. So I took it and ended up loving it. Those girls were hungry. They wanted to go to that TNT state tournament. Yep. We took them there and had a really good crew, man. We won some games that people didn't think we would. It was a good time, and it led to other great things.
Yeah. I just remember, and just as on a personal note, I just remember, we were friends. We were college roommates. We came through college together, and we started teaching together. And I just remember, we weren't a lot of times we weren't serious about a lot with each other. We joked around. I mean, and I saw a different side of Marv when he got this. He did not take it for granted, and the work that he put in, and from the beginning of just running the shell drill and then running a couple of an offense against zone, offense against man, and just the work that he put in at it. And it don't seem like it's been that long, but it's been to state tournaments with the high school and things like that. It's just I'm impressed.
I appreciate that,
and I've enjoyed it.
When I took the high school job, I sure didn't take that lightly because they had just been to a state tournament and lost in overtime.
Right.
And, we finished fourth in the district tournament that year and won the region tournament. Amanda Jackson had 10 threes in that region championship game. And then Brittany Creech pulls out the three against Cloudland. But, I've pressured myself a lot. And, that's kind of probably one of the things I'm going to look forward to not doing so much after this.
Yeah. Well, I know how your teams feel about you. It's clear. If they didn't love you, they wouldn't put up with the way you talk to them.
That's true. That's true, especially 24.
All right, so Oneida opens the season November 22nd, less than 3 weeks from tonight. You're going to be at Smith County in a girls-only game, and then the first home game, November the 25th against Oakdale. I would ask you if you're ready, but I know I never heard a coach say, "Yeah, we're ready. Bring on the season opener."
We will be ready, I'll promise you.
Right.
And we're excited. Everybody's excited. I hope the football team goes far, but I'm ready to get Coach Pike back already after one day of not having him. When we do the late practices, he's going to double duty. I'll see him up there some, but we're excited, and the girls they were really excited. I love their attitude today, and that's going to go a long way for us if we continue that.
All right,
quick question. If you were playing a game tonight, who would the starting five be, 1 through 5?
Well, the three seniors, of course. And then, I'll be honest, my three sophomores are fighting for those spots. Kendall and Elizabeth started this summer because I loved having Elizabeth at the 5. A more traditional 5, but Maddie Pike's right there. I mean, if we go with a smaller lineup, we're just going to have to work on tweaking a few things on how we inbound the ball and against the press and things like that, and get those girls ready to step in those spots. But I mean, I would trust all 6 of those girls.
Excellent.
All right, Coach Marv West, good luck this season.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk to our scholar athlete, Jayla Smith. We are back on the roundtable on the IH Sports Network, live tonight from the C. Michael Lake Technology Center in Helenwood, and it's time now for our One Bank of Tennessee Scholar Athlete segment, and we've got Oneida senior cheerleader, Jayla Smith with us, Tim Smith. And let me ask you first, what is your GPA?
I think it's 3.9.
Okay.
And Jayla, we're not related. Different set of Smith, I don't think.
No, his GPA was never
close
to 3.9.
Definitely, if anything proved it, it was that. So, so football season, regular season is over. Talk to us about what was your highlight of this 10-game season we've had so far. Was there a night that seemed like the best one so far?
I think definitely senior night. It was a really good night. Our team did so much more for us than I could have ever imagined.
Okay. And as a senior, how does it feel? You know, you're not quite halfway through, but it feels like one chapter, the football chapter, is closing. Are you going to continue to cheer in basketball?
Yes.
Okay. So how does it feel to be closing out on the football chapter? You hopefully got a few weeks left, but how does that feel?
It's definitely a bittersweet moment. I don't want to let it go because I've done it pretty much my entire life, and it's just really sad to let go of.
I want to ask you about this moment, and have they done it all 4 years that you've been in? At the end of a win, when Oneida wins, they come over and the cheerleaders and the team stand in front of the band and they sing the alma mater. Has that happened all 4 years you've been there?
I think we may have started it my sophomore year.
Okay. What is that like? Because, it emulates what they do at the University of Tennessee, but it really looks like it pulls the whole crew together there for just a few minutes.
I really like doing it because we're, like you said, we're all together.
Yeah. And so it only happens on a win, though, right?
Yeah.
And so hopefully you get a chance to do it again this Friday night. So
I'm hoping.
Yeah. And do you feel like I know the last week was the first time the weather was kind of turned off cold. Does that bother you at all as a cheerleader when the weather changes?
It's kind of sad because we don't get to wear our uniforms. We usually just wear our warm-up suits. But other than that, it's kind of mid.
Doesn't change anything necessarily, though? Okay, so what's your prediction for this this Friday night, Oneida and West Green? What do you think's going to happen?
I've got some faith. Hopefully we'll win.
Okay, and what about basketball-wise? Do you like cheering basketball as much or not? Not as much, really. What do you think that is?
I like the atmosphere of football. I enjoy that a lot more than basketball.
Okay. All right. So you're here as a scholar athlete. So let me ask you a few questions about school. Have you always liked school from a young age?
No.
No. Did you have a certain grade where you had a teacher that made you like coming to school?
It may have been my 7th grade year when I had Brandy Smith. I enjoyed her English class a lot.
Okay. What about English did you enjoy?
I've always been an English person, never math. I'm not good with numbers.
Okay, now we may be related. I'm starting to agree with you here on that one because I'm definitely no math and the English is good. But what has been math? Is that the most challenging class you've had? Is math, or is there something that's even more challenging?
Math.
Any specific type of math?
Algebra too.
Okay, geometry. Did you do it?
Yeah, I did it, but I did good in there. I made 100.
Yeah, see. So I was more algebra than geometry. You know, that happens sometimes too. So what about any other extracurricular activities that you participated in or thought about being in?
No, it's always just been cheer.
Always just been cheer. Okay. So what are you thinking you might major in when you graduate next year, and where do you think you might go?
I'm doing enrolled in TCAT right now for cosmetology. I think I'm just going to stick it out with TCAT.
You're going to finish with cosmetology?
Mm-hmm.
And do you have an ambition will you want to own your own place, or do you want to work for a big cosmetology company or a big, salon in Knoxville or something like that? What's your goals and dreams there?
I'm hoping to move out of the county and start a place somewhere, like maybe in Kentucky or something.
Okay. Is there any particular type of cosmetology activity you like? Because I know there's pedicures, there's manicures, there's, styling, coloring. What are you good at?
I really want to go for nails and just major in nails, yeah.
Okay. So do you think, as a cosmetologist, do you think you could take one of these guys and make them look good?
They might not like it, but I'll try.
I'm going to say the odds are against you.
I'm going to agree with that.
And I include myself.
I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah.
He'll have to speak for himself.
I'll include myself on that. But so cosmetology, is there anything else, any other goals you have down the road that you would like to see happen?
I would like to be a part of the UCA staff. It's a thing for cheer.
So what is that? What does the UCA staff do?
Like, we go to camp. They kind of just travel and help with high school teams and cheer.
Okay. All right. And have you've participated in that in the past, but not as a staff member?
Yeah.
Okay. How many years have you done that?
The first year we had a home camp, and then my last 3 years we have been going, traveling to camp.
Okay. And what about on the cheerleading staff? Is there person on the that was a cheerleader, that was an older cheerleader than you, that when you became a cheerleader that you felt like welcomed you in and made you feel comfortable?
Cheyenne Smith.
Okay. It's always nice to do that. Have you tried to do that for others?
Yeah, I've tried.
Who are some of the younger cheerleaders that you think are going to do really well in the future?
Bailey and Chloe. Chloe Blevins.
Okay. What about any shout out to any high school teachers that you would like to give right now, that just in hopes that they will take it easy on you this semester or next semester?
Stephanie Duncan.
Okay. And what does she teach?
She's my English teacher.
English teacher. All right.
Anybody else in your family that you want to give a shout out to?
My mom and my dad.
Let's throw their names out. So
Jessica and Tyler Smith.
Okay. How supportive? Moms are usually very supportive of cheerleaders. Has your mom been that
Yes.
for you?
She's saying dads aren't.
He said that. She didn't.
No, I didn't
Or
really
he
say
indicated
that.
it.
No, I didn't
He
really
did
indicate
indicate
that. I mean, dads usually, they let moms take over as the cheerleading mom, correct?
Mm.
So has your dad been a cheerleading dad?
Yeah, he's a girl dad, so
A girl,
he shows up to every game. He's never missed a single game.
just for the cheerleaders.
Hmm.
He's a good man. Let me say that right now.
All right, Jayla Smith. We're going to have you back on during basketball season to not talk so much about academics and to talk, even though you said you don't like basketball as much as football. We're going to have you back on along with any other cheerleader that we didn't get on in football season. So pass that along to your cheermates?
Squad
Mates. That's very good, Tim Smith.
Thank you.
I believe you was a cheerleader back in the day.
I was not that talented.
Jayla Smith, our one Bank of Tennessee Scholar athlete with her 3.9 plus GPA. Thank you for joining us. Another break. When we come back, we're going to talk more Scott High football just for a minute, and then we're going to get to Brent Ellis and talk basketball, and then we'll be done right after this. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We're jumping back to football now, Rick. We've been from football to basketball to cheerleading, back to football. If you're confused, we're just as confused as you are. Tim Smith got so angry, he got up and went to the house. But we've got now Houston Stanley is here. Houston's a sophomore. He was our one Bank in Tennessee Scholar athlete. Why was he not on with Jayla? Because he was late. And we've got Michael Bond. He's a senior. He was also our First National Bank co-player of the game Thursday night. Why was he not on with Braden earlier? Because he was late. Where were you two guys at?
Basketball practice.
I slipped in.
You have a better excuse than he does.
Yep.
Pull that microphone up, Mike. There you go. All right. So, and we got Braden to stick around because you two guys were both players of the game, and we didn't think you were going to show up at all. So we didn't want you to be up here by yourself. We know you're kind of shy. But so here we all are. So, Rick, talk to him.
Well, the first thing I want to say is hi. The other thing, I'll start with Houston here as the athlete, as the scholar of the week. And is that were you expecting that? Did you realize that you could qualify as a scholar?
Not really, no.
3.94 GPA, by the way. Am I right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Well,
this is like Caleb Bell from last year all over again. Why am I here?
Yeah,
I have no idea what it is.
But he's a football/basketball player now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You had to go back and play the offensive line on Friday night. Now, I'm not trying to bring up any old wounds.
Don't get me started.
I know you don't like that, but were you okay with that Friday night?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know, Ben. I wasn't getting started on that. Michael Bond, player of the game. We sort of went an offense and defense player of the game. We had a chance to ask Braden earlier, and I want to ask you now. What did Sweetwater do in the first half that sort of hampered our game, and what did we do in the second half that we were able to overcome that and have good success against Sweetwater?
They was just mashing our O-line up front real good. And second half, I guess what started working was I just started to become more downhill,
Mm-hmm.
Just find the gaps a little quicker.
Hold on. I just realized that your coach was here 15 minutes before you were. What's this basketball practice
I had to
stuff?
change and get ready.
Okay.
And he didn't?
We'll ask him
No,
about that when he gets
he's
up.
been in that.
I'm sorry. Carry on, you guys.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Very good. I just talked with you when you walked up here and sat down. 1,000-yard rusher. It has everything to do, I think, with staying healthy this year. Let's document your previous 3 years. Seemed like you'd get going and then, boom, ankle, leg, whatever.
Yep.
Let's talk about the previous 3 years and the struggle to sort of stay healthy.
Well, freshman year I broke it week 4, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Went through therapy. Was back by sophomore year. Played my whole sophomore year, but I didn't play like running back or anything.
Right.
Freshman year I was actually running back. Sophomore year I wasn't. And then junior year, I think it was week 7. I we was just playing Union County and broke my other ankle actually.
And you actually had already gone over 100 yards in that game when that injury occurred, I believe.
Yep.
Okay. This year, did you have to do was it luck or did you have to prepare real hard in the weight room to stay healthy?
Yeah, I was working out pretty often.
Significance in being a 1,000-yard rusher for a Highlander program that hasn't had many of those for the last 15 years?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Congratulations on hitting that milestone. And I don't know, we've not gone back to check on it because I'll be real honest with you. For the last 4 or 5 years, I haven't kept stats like this because we didn't produce as well. And so shame on me, and I apologize right now, and I'll try to do better. But between yourself and Desmond Boland, if the game's on the line, who gets the ball?
Me.
Why?
Just say from experience.
Experience.
I mean, I think he's my dog on Desmond Little. I think he's fumbled twice already, and he's only carried.
Dang!
Oh.
I think he's only carried the ball, but
That's a harsh thing to say about a guy that's not here.
No kidding.
yeah.
Well, I didn't throw him under the bus. Braden was real nice to Dez earlier, so
I'm gonna be a little mean to him.
okay. Well,
Everyone's too nice to him.
yeah. Well, you've played 4 years together, right?
Yeah.
What has it meant playing with this group of 14 other seniors this year?
I mean, I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Can we fill in all the holes if these seniors will leave next year, you think?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Have you enjoyed this year more than any of the other years?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good enough. Braden, back again, another segment.
Yep.
He's the only person this year that's done a couple segments.
I think this is probably a first in the 4 or 5 years that we've done this, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Okay. What do you have to say to the junior coming back, Houston Stanley?
Show up on time.
Oh,
no matter what it is.
Yes.
Show up on
Very
time.
good. I like that.
I don't like it.
He and Braxton Potter have done an admirable job on the defensive ends all year long.
Yes.
Houston likes to tell me he gets held on each and every play. Is that a true statement?
I've seen him get held a lot. There is some plays where he's complaining, and I haven't seen anything happen to him.
He's
But,
not looking hard enough.
you know,
Do you miss? I mean, you mentioned your sophomore season. You played defense
Yep.
on that side of the ball. Do you miss playing defense?
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Okay, well that's fair because that's where you really got the starts at your sophomore year.
Yep.
So, what do y'all have to say to next year's team, specifically Houston, but to the entire team next year, Michael?
Good luck. Hope you guys do good.
Okay, Braden.
hit the weight room, watch a lot of film, get ready for next season.
And who consistently, Desmond Boland has been named as the smartest. Yeah, he's a pretty smart kid, but he watches more film than anybody else. Who's going to take over that role next year? Who already is working his way up to that?
Jesse, maybe? I think Jesse.
Jesse Jeffers?
Well, probably
okay.
Jesse.
Okay.
Houston, I've never known of you watching film.
I watch a lot of film, bro.
Hey, easy.
I watch a lot.
I'm sorry, Houston, that everybody's throwing shade your way.
Yeah, if you'd have showed up on time, that might not have happened.
Yeah.
Anything you want to – you're here. Anything you want to say in terms of being a scholar athlete and what your future is going to be, what you want to do after high school?
I have no idea yet.
Okay.
I got no clue.
Very good.
So honestly, we were joking around.
We're all honest every time.
Well,
man.
sometimes. But I've said this in other segments this year. We've done these One Bank of Tennessee Scholar Athlete segments, and that is playing sports and keeping your grades up is tough. I mean, it's really tough to balance those two things. And you play multiple sports. You actually play 3 sports. How do you do that? How do you balance your time and make sure that you're doing what you got to do in the classroom to maintain a 3.9 plus GPA?
I just do it in class. I don't have no homework.
Just never have to do working at home.
Nope.
So it kind of comes natural to you.
No, he definitely cheats.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
100%.
What did you do to him?
You tell me.
Hey, can I say this right here? Seriously, it's to credit to all the seniors and to Houston also. It's my understanding that of the 15 seniors, every one of them has a GPA. I think it starts at 3.4 and goes higher. And I think that is commendable for what you guys have done.
Even him?
Dude, I got like a 4.0.
Yeah, I started saying it starts at 3.4 and it goes up. Several are close.
Why haven't you been in this seat as a scholar athlete?
You tell me.
Because
we're going to ask Morgan Boyd about
because
this.
The person that submits that to us. But my congratulations. I mean, it's hard to find.
I'm just kidding.
4-year seniors that have that kind of role and have done so well in the classroom, and I commend them.
All right, guys, Michael. So when Braden was on earlier, when our players of the game were supposed to be on, I told him and I told Rick this Friday night. It just seemed to me that when someone needed to step up in the second half, it wasn't just you two. But he really stepped up on defense. You really stepped up on offense. That keyed the turnaround in that game, I thought. And I made the comment to Rick and the guys during a break. Maybe it wasn't during a break. But even when the yards were still tough to come by, and it was tough sledding against that Sweetwater defense, I said, man, Michael Bond is absolutely hitting the hole with authority. And you just kept doing that, and you kept doing that. And finally, you got your yards. Rick and Age have commented a lot this year about you just keep carrying the ball, and those yards will finally come. Were you running a little extra hard in that game Thursday night?
Absolutely. Last 2 quarters.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to say this, Rick, and we'll go to break because you guys are done. So this is the last time we're going to see you seniors. Usually we get to the end of a football season, and I'm done. I'm ready to take a break. A few weeks off before basketball. I absolutely was not ready to hang it up Thursday night. And obviously I know you guys weren't either because, unlike me, you guys have actually got skin invested in the game. But I've said for 25 years, Rick, that we have good kids in this community.
Certainly
Sky
do.
High, Oneida, and you guys and your 13 teammates, your seniors, you guys have absolutely proven that this year. So it has been fun. I just want you guys to know, as just an old guy who graduated from Scott High 30 years ago, y'all made Scott High football fun this year. So thank y'all for that.
You're welcome.
And good luck in the future.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to take one last break, and when we come back, we'll have Coach Brent Ellis on to wrap things up on the roundtable. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Our final segment tonight. I'm Ben Garrett alongside the voice of the Highlanders, Rick Keaton. Tim Smith is at home, probably in the bed by now since he stomped out of here mad earlier. Rick.
You would have had to sped up the road to get home.
Well.
Okay.
And we're joined now by Scott High boys head coach Brent Ellis. First year head coach of the Highlanders, Brent Ellis. And Coach Ellis, I got to ask you right off the bat. You ask most folks. Now, I'm not trying to put more pressure on you here, and you're probably going to backhand me right off the bat. Go ahead and do it if you want to.
I'll take. Yes, he is. Go ahead.
Ask folks around this district, and most folks are going to say the team that they think is going to win the district is Scott High. Not often does a coach come in and inherit a team right away that is as experienced, as talented as the team that you have inherited. Is that a luxury, or does it just add more pressure because there's a feeling that we need to win right away?
It adds a ton of pressure, and I do think there is a group that's there that can definitely do that. But at the end of the day, Jordan Jeffers is still at Anderson County. Anderson County has won 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, you say you got to beat – they're the top dog until you knock them off. And then Clinton is returning Bryson Maddox, and I think they've got another kid that's at least 6'5", 6'6". They've got Cam Nelson. So they're also one of the top teams. But I think we've got a core group of 7 seniors who definitely can help us get a district championship. We talked about that today in the locker room, and we had a team meeting, and the biggest thing I told them was, this is all about you all. This ain't about me. This ain't about anything other than you all having the best year, hopefully, of your lives, and hopefully the funnest year of your lives. And if they win a district championship, it won't be because of me. It won't be because of Derek or anybody. It'll be because of what they've done. And I'm not taking anything away from us, but, you know, players win the games.
So let's start by talking about those 7 seniors. I won't try to name them because obviously I know them, but I would leave someone out with there being 7 of them. But
right.
Talk about those 7 seniors and what they're going to bring to your team.
So I've not got to watch a ton of them over the years, except for when they were freshmen, whenever I was coaching at AC. Isaiah, you know, obviously came off the bench and knocked down threes at Anderson County, put the game away. And then we have Wyatt, which from what I've seen from the stats, he was the leading scorer. He was tied first in assist. So, you know, offensively he was able to help a lot. Obviously, Jagan, I've coached him at Oneida Middle School whenever he was there. I know what I'm getting out of Jagan. He's extremely smart, athletic. Honestly, right now I think he's one of the only guys we have that can dunk the basketball. We got a few that's getting close. Wyatt does not like me saying that. I think it kind of upsets him. Jacob Blau, I think everybody said towards the end his defensive pressure really came on, and so me and Derek's talked about being able to use him in situations like that. Landon Goodman, I have to apologize to him, and I'll do it on air. I thought that he shot 28% from 3 last year looking at the huddle, but then she sent me the stats, and I think he shot 39%, which from 3. So that's going to be huge. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about how he can stretch the floor even when he does not have the basketball. And then Brennan Brummett, obviously everybody knows, even though he's had a ton of injuries, his IQ and his effort and hustle is still there. And then I think, is it Logan Phillips, the last one? Logan did not get a ton of playing time, I don't think, last year.
Didn't play last year.
And
right.
I know he didn't play this summer.
He played.
But,
I think he played last year. But
my bad. Sorry, Logan.
But
it was sporadic.
But from what we've seen at Open Gym and doing some drills in the three-player workouts and conditioning and the weight room and stuff, he has really worked hard to try to earn some time on varsity. And today, you know, today being the first practice with all the players, we went over a few things, and you guys was talking about GPA and everything. It shows whenever we try to get into some of our stuff, they get things quick. You know, the GPA, I had Miss Jacqueline send it to me, of our varsity players, it was 3.74. So whenever the varsity basketball team has a GPA of that, you kind of expect them to be able to get things rather quickly.
So you said that you just named your varsity today, just picked varsity today. Do you want to go over those names, those underclassmen that are on varsity?
Are you trying to throw some shade this way?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
But if you don't want to quite go to that length, can you just talk about your younger players that are going to contribute with those seniors?
Well, you're still.
That's the same thing. that's the same thing.
It's a common question.
It's not a trap question. I was going to ask one similar to that. So,
okay, let me back up. You forget what I just asked. Rick, you ask your question.
I was just going to ask in terms of, you know, what kind of depth. I was looking at the depth issue because obviously of 7 seniors, you're going to see those guys a lot on the floor probably. And, you know, what else will be in the mix?
So, gosh, that's loud. So me and Derek have talked, and we're looking at going 8, maybe 9 deep. And depending on who we're playing, it'll be situational. You know, right now we've got on varsity it'll be White Lloyd, Landon Goodman, Logan Phillips, Isaiah Washam, Brennan Brummett, Jagan Morgan, Jacob Lau, Landon Washam, Houston Stanley, Devin Pruitt, Brady Crabtree, Tyler Newport, who just had surgery this morning, and I talked to him. He's doing really well with it. He broke his wrist back in May. So he's going to be out until probably January, early February. Then we have Braxton Potter. Bentley Ellis, and I believe that's it.
So, and I was going to eventually get to that too, and that is, do you have any freshmen that are going to see time on the floor?
That's where I thought you was going. To be honest, I was not even going to put Bentley on varsity. But then Derek kind of pushed it, and it wasn't just Derek, the players. And I'm not talking about just the players, the seniors. They was basically telling me I was an idiot if I didn't. And it's kind of not fair to him if I don't, if he deserves it, and if the team is behind him, and if Derek's behind him. I can't be dad and think, well, it's my kid, I got to do this. That way the community doesn't get upset and think it's daddy ball. So, and honestly, with conversations, with guard rotation, there's a high possibility he could be the first guard off the bench.
And so I get it. I get why you say don't just stop. Don't ask that question. And yes, he is your son. I got to see him a little bit last year. I think that anybody who saw him play last year, Rick, I don't know if you got to see him or not, they would probably agree he's ready. I mean, he's ready for high school ball. And so that's why I was asking.
I don't know if he is ready, and I don't, like, more physically, I don't know if he's ready. Like today we was doing a defensive drill. Derek had him, lining up, and it was just a continuous. I call it the Byron Scott drill. I can't remember what Derek called it. But you guard a guy to half court, you turn, you go back. And honestly, and it could be where he's played football, but I mean, Isaiah, Jagan, those guys were wearing him out. They're seniors though.
There's a 4-year difference between a senior and a freshman, and you expect the seniors to have a little more knowledge. They know what it takes to get in shape for the high school grind and everything. So they've got a little bit advantage.
I definitely think he will be prepared come January, and I think everybody will be. Like I said today, we thought the football players were going to be out of shape, but Wyatt's up with two of our guys that's been running a mile every day. And it's impressive, with how they transitioned today into everything. And today was not easy. We got the new locker room, and I'm very strict with keeping it clean. And so they had a few laps that they had to run for that. So, even Houston back there, he's talking about how his legs are hurting him.
Did he really practice until 7:30 or whatever time he showed up?
He was there.
He was there.
So he was being honest. I take back everything that I thought about you, Houston. I'm sorry. All right. So, folks that do not remember you from when you were in 09 and didn't have an opportunity to see you at Norris, which is where you were at last year, what can they expect this year as far as your coaching style, offensively and defensively?
So I'm not an overbearing coach, but I can say that because when you have coached guys like Grady Keaton, Jesse Zachary, Ben Gilbert, all those guys that I had at Oneida, it kind of makes it to where those guys can just win games. And then I had the luxury at Norris where, Colton Lawson, who's going to be if he's probably not going to be a starter, I don't know, but he will get minutes as a freshman as well. And then obviously Bentley, Ben Downs' boy, and all those guys, they were able to make everything pretty easy for me. And but it's more of a 4-out with a dunker, with a lot of Princeton concepts. We go into Zoom, we'll go into some horn stuff, and I'm more of I will only call something when needed. I prefer high pace and read and react, like players making decisions on their own based on what the defense gives us. And go ahead.
I was just going to ask for people not familiar. Let's talk about the Princeton style, which I perceive as cut off the ball all the time.
So
give up the ball and cut.
So like one thing, and it's not like I'm giving anything away, but it's you throw it into the high post, or you could throw it into the low post, and based on there'll be split actions, and there'll be reads that the players will have out of it. and then we'll run some 4 low stuff, but there's 4 high stuff. Everything will eventually flow back into the 4 out, and it'll be say like if I called a horn set, it eventually will get into the 4 out, and they already know the 4 out, which is pass, cut, move, and then they'll be able to make the reads out of that.
What's the pace that you want your team to be able to play at?
Extremely fast.
Defensively, then what does that do to you? Does that get you tired where you have to go to a rotation a lot?
We will go to a rotation. That's where we've talked about 8 or 9 men rotation. I've asked Derek because I'm kind of behind where I took over the summer, and we're trying to make sure that this senior group has, obviously the best year that they could have. And Derek, I've kind of asked him to take on the lead role for defense. I'll take on the lead role for offense, but we both help each other throughout the year, kind of like football does with the offensive coordinator, defense coordinator. And so he's looking into, running man, going to some press defense, some zones, depending on the matchup of who we're playing.
And that was going to be my next question. Will we see sort of man-D full court or just man-D half?
Typically half court.
Okay.
But Derek
will put some pressure.
He has full reign to do whatever he sees fit. He's been with these guys since they were freshmen.
We need to say Derek both years. We refer to Derek, but he's been there 6 years, 8 years. He's been there a long time. So he's seen these freshmen, seen these seniors from the time they were freshmen right on up.
He knows them more than I do, that's for sure. Now, I know some of them from middle school where I coached against them. Mainly you got Isaiah, I think he went to Huntsville. Landon went to Huntsville. Wyatt, Goody, who's the other one that went to Fairview? Jacob and Brennan, and then Jagan obviously was at Oneida. I think Logan went to Winfield. So Goody, obviously, you always had to worry where he was at, shooting a 3. Wyatt getting downhill. Brennan with his ball handling. So I know some of them, but Derek knows them inside and out. And so I'm kind of relying on him a little bit with the early season, getting things ready to go.
Today's the first day you can get all the players together at one time, and you play in less than 3 weeks. What are the challenges for the head coach to get prepared in that amount of time?
It's
more than I want to know, probably.
Well, I was nervous about becoming a high school coach, almost as nervous as I am sitting here. And but, I got to thinking about it. When am I ever going to have this opportunity? And then we talked to our kids, and at the end of the day, it was, you're ready, let's do it. They wanted to come back. The drive to AC was a long drive, so it just so happened that you have a group of 7 seniors who are ready to win a district championship.
Icing on the cake, basically.
Yes. Definitely, and they can help lead what's coming up because we had a play day this Saturday, and I was impressed with how much talent is at the middle school level here from the teams that I saw there. I think we saw a middle school JV game where both teams scored almost 70 points. So that's impressive.
That's a lot in 8-minute quarters, is it not?
Yeah. Well, we did a 10-minute run clock.
Okay.
But that's still impressive.
Yeah.
So you just touched on what I was going to ask you, and that I was going to ask you about your kind of the trajectory that you've been on throughout your coaching years. Started at Robbins at the middle school level. You were at Oneida. Then you're an assistant with Jordan at AC. Then you go to Norris as the head coach at the middle school level there. This is your first time as head coach at a high school team. How long did you have to think about that before you made that decision? Was it like, a day, a week, 2 weeks?
No, it was a couple of weeks. But it was at first, my feet were at Anderson County, and my plans were to stay there. But again, after me and my wife and the kids sat down and we did the pros and cons, we had a long discussion, just like we do anytime. Like when I went to Oneida, we did the same thing. We prayed, we discussed it with family members, and same thing when I left to go to Anderson County. We do not make a decision just rash. It is, We discuss it as a family. We pray on it, and we really think about it beforehand. So there was a full weekend of a thought process on it for sure before I decided that I was going to put my application in.
You coach not only high school ball, but you coach BGC junior pro basketball as well. I know that because my son is on his team. So what gives you more gray hairs, coaching high school kids or coaching little bitty kids that are this tall?
Being put in uncomfortable situations like this interview.
Well, first of all, I have a lot of admiration for any coach that does double duty, whether it's at the high school level, middle school level, whether it's at the Boys and Girls Club, because all I see is your life is in a gym.
I live
Six
in a
and
gym.
a half days a week, and sometimes 7.
It's funny you say that because part of the reason to come back was I never got to see my wife. Now I live at Scott High.
Yeah.
And I don't get home until late at night. And, you know, she's like, well, I thought I was going to get to see you more. But that's just part of being a coach's wife.
So let me defend myself, by the way, because I felt like he was throwing a little shade at me right there.
No, he wasn't.
So the reason I asked that question is I've not seen your practice with the little guys, but I coached my son in soccer, and I know he's just happy to be out there. And it drove me nuts. My wife made me quit. I went back into coaching for 1 year, coaching ASO, and she said, you're done. And so my daughter then took over and coached the team.
So what I've learned –
apparently you're not allowed to yell at them at that age.
Well, that's what I was very to touch on. What I've learned through the years is like at Robbins, I was very stern. Like you had to practice by the book. You know, everything was, you know, tight ship. And kids don't take it as serious as we think that we took it, if that makes sense. And, you know, but also at the same time, we didn't have anything else to do. You know, the internet wasn't really around like it is now. So even though we don't think they take it serious, but it's just in a different way. And they don't have to live in the gym. You know, that when they're there, they're practicing hard, they're doing what they're asked to do, but they're not going to show up 24/7 like we would at a park or something.
I tell young kids this all the time. You know, of course, when I was their age, 15, 16, 17, I had a ball glove and a bicycle. That was way before internet, you know. You got 3 channels on TV, so you had to watch whatever mom and dad watched. I mean, the world has just evolved well beyond. Maybe you're younger, you're older. I'm the oldest. So the world has evolved. You're older than he is. And the world has evolved so much that it's unrecognizable to what would have been a 15-year-old Rick Keaton out there.
Right. And kids still want to play at a high level. And like what I saw today, kids coming from football Thursday night in a heartbreaker. I was hoping that they didn't come back. You know, it's a bittersweet deal. But to see what I saw today at practice, and it was a rough practice. They probably ran more than they've ran in a long time because football conditioning is different than basketball conditioning. And none of them complained. And so that tells me that they're taking it serious, even though some of us may not think they're taking it serious because they weren't in the gym in their free time or anything like that. But as soon as the season started today, they were there. They were ready to go. No complaints.
Good.
All right, so tell us who you opened the season with.
South Dual at South Dual.
And that is on which date?
November 20th.
20th,
okay,
yeah.
20th. That's what that would be, a
That's
Thursday night.
Thursday.
Yes, it is a Thursday.
2 weeks.
Yes, and then we have the Saturday, the 22nd, we have the Hall of Fame.
And you'll have two games that day.
So I asked Coach Marv West this. Now, the girls' coaches, they got a luxury you don't have. They have to wait on their soccer players to get back, but they get soccer back quicker than football. I asked Coach West, does a coach ever feel like they're ready? I'm pretty sure you're worried about feeling like you're ready because today was your first day with your guys. Yes. By 2 weeks from this Thursday night, you think your guys are going to be ready to go?
I think we will be as ready as we can be. And one thing Derek and I talked about over the summer, which we didn't have a whole lot of practice time either, it felt like it was more games than anything, was we need to get stronger. And a few of those guys that we had those discussions with, well, they chose to play football. So what's going to get you more ready for the physicality of basketball than football? And Derek's done a really good job of getting them in the weight room, running them on the track. Bryson's been there helping make sure the JV and the freshman guys are doing the same. So I do feel like with those two guys helping me, we're definitely going to be prepared the best we can.
Really, you've got the month of December, the games you have in December, because you get to January, and that's when your district games start falling in January right there. So I don't want to say you've got to prepare for the second season in basketball, I'm pretty sure. So
yes, January 6th.
Yeah.
Anderson County.
Yep, I just looked at that yesterday because I was thinking, because there's one Anderson County, I think you skip a game, then suddenly there's like 5 or 6 district games right in a row there.
All right. Coach Brent Ellis, we'll see you on the 20th, 2 weeks from Thursday night. Best of luck this season. We're looking forward to it.
Appreciate it.
That's going to do it for us tonight on the round table. For Greg Baum behind the controls, for Leetta Boyd blocking the door to keep the riffraff out, for Tim Smith who went home and went to bed early, for Rick Keaton, I'm Ben Garrett saying thank you for joining us. Don't forget Friday night football as the Oneida Indians start their postseason journey. Our game time, or our start time will be at 6 o'clock with the Rogers Group pregame show. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.